Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Jodi Meadows, and Brodi Ashton. This is a second book in a series of companion books, so the books are not related, but these three authors keep writing kind of alternate stories about different Janes. So this is sort of a retelling of Jane Eyre. And the narrators kind of break the fourth wall and talk to you as the reader, so they tell you at the beginning that this is what really happened, and that Jane Eyre was inspired by these events. So in this story, ghosts are real, and there's a whole portion of the government kind of devoted to ghost hunting and capturing, and Jane Eyre, still one of the main characters, although there are three POVs, she can see ghosts. So we have Jane, who can see ghosts, we have Charlotte Bronte, the author of Jane Eyre, the novel, who is Jane Eyre's friend in this story, and then we have an agent from that government ghost hunting portion named Alexander, and we follow these three perspectives. So the main story beats from Jane Eyre remain the same, but the reasoning for them is different in this story. So before we get into this, I've never read Jane Eyre, but I've seen Jane Eyre adaptations, so I am not a diehard Jane Eyre fan, but I know enough about it. But if you are a diehard fan, this might ruffle your feathers a bit? I'm not sure. I haven't heard from anybody who's a serious Jane Eyre fan, but I don't know how a super fan would take it, so don't take my word for it enjoyment-wise if you're a super fan, because my perspective is not coming from a super fan perspective. So first off, we talk about the world building. The addition of like the ghosts and stuff was kind of fun. This story is sort of like bordering on campy at times a little bit, but it's just very fun. It plays around a lot, and the world building, I think, a lot of times is sort of explained by the narrators. So the narrators break the fourth wall a lot, and they will tell you, like, for example, if in the original story they described somebody as handsome, the narrators will come in like parentheses and be like, he actually looked like this, which by today's standards would be really ugly, but in these days would be really cute, and stuff like that. So that world building is fun because it gives you tidbits about the actual story, what was going on at the time, and then also adding things to this story and making it almost like a paranormal-y type story. Next, I talk about our characters. Like I said, there are three different POVs, and I have mixed feelings because, again, I don't have Jane Eyre or any of the characters from Jane Eyre. They're not, like, really important to me, but I know things about them, obviously. Jane feels a little different in here than she would in Jane Eyre. There's certain things about Jane Eyre and just, like, her independence and her feelings about love from what I've seen in the adaptations that I feel like this was played up a little more and made her a little more modern teenage girl-ish in ways, but again, I haven't read the actual story, so maybe she has these internal monologues that I was not privy to in adaptations that were more in line with her thinking. Who knows? But in some ways, I felt like, especially with some of the romance bits, she was a little bit more, like, quick to get swept up in the romanticness of it, and I feel like Jane Eyre, the character that I've seen in adaptations, is not that way. Could be wrong. Then we had Charlotte and Alexander, and they were fun, kind of twists on tropes, but also tropes within themselves, and just kind of very fun, light. Like, these characters and this story is just very quick to read, fun, nothing too complex. There's not really, like, twists and turns in characters' personalities that you weren't expecting. It's all kind of goes along with what you think it would kind of do, but it's still kind of fun in that way. So, with that, let me get into the plot. Jane Eyre with ghosts. There are some things that make the plot kind of diverge from the Jane Eyre story. There's explanations that are different, and there's characters that are different, and then the ending is obviously different. But you also have, throughout the story, Charlotte writing Jane Eyre, and there being certain quotes that are the same, and there being, like, here's how she changed it, and why she changed it from the original, what actually happened, and it's just, again, fun. It's very aware of itself and what it's doing, and it's not trying to be something super serious, and it's kind of a funny take on Gothic literature, which I think was good, and was a really great read for October. This is one of the last books that I ended up reading in October. It's kind of carried over into November, but it was a little, like, kind of spooky read for that time of year. But again, nothing super scary. So overall, I found this enjoyable, but I would tread carefully if you're a diehard Jane Eyre fan and want some of the same things, because again, things about the plot get changed and the character relationships and stuff like that. But if you're looking for, like, a comedic retelling kind of version of it, I think you should probably give this a go. I gave this 3 to 3.5 out of 5 stars. So comment below, let me know what you thought of My Plain Jane. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all you guys soon. Bye!